Hey there, I'm Sage and you're watching D&D Daily, where we release new D&D content every day. If you're looking for D&D inspiration or information, then you are in the right spot. Today, we are talking about the Ancient One. The Ancient One is an Eladrin elf of the spring variety. She is also a Circle of the Dreams Druid with the Feylost background. The Ancient One was born long ago in an ancient forest. It was her people's way to plant a tree when a mother became pregnant. These trees would sprout on the day of the child's birth and were known as sister trees. These trees had a deep connection with their human counterpart and were considered very sacred to her people. The Ancient One lived in this forest with her people and her sister tree for over 450 years. Nearing the end of her life, the Ancient One felt that she wanted one last grand adventure. She went to her sister tree and spoke her wish. She had lived a full life. She had fallen in love, had many children, had eaten amazing foods, and heard amazing songs. Before she said goodbye to this world she loved so much, she wanted to feel the experience of something brand new once again. Her sister tree responded to this wish by lifting up one of her roots, creating an archway. She prompted the Ancient One to pass through this archway. As she did, her sister lifted another root and wrapped it around the Ancient One's wrist, creating a bracelet of wood. This bracelet even took root into the skin of the Ancient One. Recognizing this as a great gift, the Ancient One smiled wistfully and walked through the archway. Unbeknownst to the Ancient One, she had entered the Feywild. She spent 50 years there, making friends with many fairies, seeing many strange and scary things, learning new magics, languages, and recipes. She had had her final adventure, and she was ready to return home. Responding to her wish, her fairy friends transported her back to her realm. Arriving, she expected to appear right before her sister tree, but was surprised to find that she was somewhere she had never been before. Looking down at her left arm, she found that her sister's bracelet had grown, covering her whole arm from shoulder to fingertips. As she walked, plants would grow and blossom around her. It seemed that her time in the Feywilds had changed her in many ways she had never anticipated. These musings were cut off when she felt the touch of her sister's mind for the first time in 50 years. She wasn't the only one who had changed. Her sister felt old. This old soul that she knew she had a connection with, but at the same time felt like a stranger, began calling her for assistance. Her sister tree was in need many miles away, so she summoned the energy for one last adventure. As a fun side note, as this is kind of the storytelling side of me speaking, her time in the Feywild was actually 5,000 years on her original plane. Her sister tree has seen the rise and fall of civilization, including the Ancient One's old civilization. Being tied to her though, it's blessed with unusual vigor. The personality of the Ancient One is an old wise grandma. She loves to make a homey environment for her loved ones. She loves to cook, sing, tell stories, make the feeling of being around a campfire wherever she is. Also incredibly wise. She has lived a long life, and even for her years, she's wise beyond them. She is kind and pacifistic, but when push comes to shove, she is brave and would stand up in the face of certain death if she believed in what she stood for. She doesn't fear death, as she's been close to it for a long time. She just wants to do what she can before she dies to make the world a more beautiful place. She's odd, even a bit otherworldly. Her time in the Feywilds changed her. She's not the same as she was when she left, so she's half in this realm, half in another one. She would have the love of trickery and harmless pranks that she learned from her fairy friends, and would come in and out of concentration quite easily. In combat, the Ancient One is a support caster focused on healing, control, summoning, and team mobility. Being one of the Circle of the Dreams gives the Ancient One an ability called Balm of the Summer Court. This ability gives her a pool of healing dice that she can use to heal her allies as a bonus action from 120 feet away. This is amazing because it allows you to be a fantastic combat healer while still being able to focus on casting your other more offensive spells. In other words, you can be a healer as well as a controller or a summoner or whatever else you need to be. She also has more mobility than most druids due to her racial ability as an Eladrin elf. She can use Misty Step once per day. As a Spring Eladrin, she can give this teleport to an ally by touching them. a theme that continues with her level 10 Dream Druid feature called Hidden Paths. This gives her a pool of Misty Steps that she can use that are double the distance of normal Misty Steps. Or she can use her action to give one of those teleports to an ally at the normal distance of 30 feet. Once again, these Misty Steps do not take her spell for that turn, so she has a lot of mobility into some cool spells, an ability unique to Dream Druids. This is a personal choice of mine, but I would keep the focus of her spells on plants, earth, and fey. I think the flavor fits best for her. Out of combat, the Ancient One still acts as a healer with spells like Healing Spirit and Goodberry. She is also a utility caster, using her versatile spell choices to customize the spells for any occasion. Combine this flexibility with her ritual casting, and like all druids, you have one potent support utility caster on your side. With a high wisdom, she is also a great lookout, made better by her 6th level Dream Druid feature called Hearth of Moonlight and Shadow. During a short rest or long rest, she spawns an invisible aura of 30 feet that makes fire unseeable from outside the aura, and on top of that, all allies in the aura have a +5 to stealth and perception. I think this ability could easily be glossed over as a simple stat boost in a very niche situation, but I feel that's a missed opportunity for this. She's creating a little pocket of the Feywild. The +5 perception should be flavored, as when you're in the Ancient One's aura, everything is more vibrant. Colors are sharper, the food smells better, and any trespassers who are near would sound like elephants walking through the forest. On the other side of the aura, the +5 to stealth has the exact opposite effect. Any enemy's eyes might just gloss over the party eating around the fire because they just blend in with their surroundings. The vibe I'm going with Hearth and Moonlight and Shadow is if you were to cross that boundary that she creates at that 30-foot distance, it would be like stepping into a different world, almost like it was for her when she stepped from her realm into the Feywild. The Ancient One allows you to throw a tea party in the most dangerous of spots. She gives that homey warmth to any party, no matter how dark the campaign. During the Ancient One's downtime, she would be making the world a brighter place. Her footsteps literally make the world more beautiful because of her Feylost background feature that makes flowers and plants sprout and grow wherever she is. She also loves to cook, for anyone but especially friends. Give her a proficiency in cooking utensils to show this. The Ancient One is wise and will be the voice of reason and wisdom in the party. Adventurers tend to be a traumatized lot, and she's here to provide them with wise counsel, often recommending temperance. Key mechanics of playing the Ancient One is her high wisdom and constitution with at least a 14 in dex for her medium armor. She mechanically wears a shield, but aesthetically I would say it's her bark arm that she received from her sister tree. Guidance is a must-take cantrip. She is a wise woman and her guidance will always be appreciated. Adding strong flavor to your casting is a must. Have fun and get creative. Fey magic is varied and flavorful and should be enjoyed. The Ancient One's weaknesses is that she prefers not to be aggressive. This can be a pro or a con depending on the situation. She is old and her strength isn't the highest. Grapples can be particularly scary. Leave the wrestling to the youngins. Direct combat isn't her specialty, preferring to stay on the edges of combat. As an NPC, I would use the Ancient One in the Feywild. A strange woman who doesn't quite fit into the strange setting. She could also be a simple drop-in NPC anywhere the party needs a respite. A mysterious woman who keeps them safe and makes them dinner. I would play off of how strange her and her magic is, possibly giving the party a reason to second guess her kindness, despite it being genuine. She would also just make a simply great innkeeper to throw into one of your inns. The key note to hit with the Ancient One is the person in between two worlds and two peoples. She's not quite elf or fey. Combine this with a grandma's doting kindness and you've hit the right note. Thank you so much for watching our video till the very end. If you are still here, then you are our kind of people and we want to hear from you. What would you do differently with the Ancient One and what would you do to make her better? So let us know in the comments below.